The Mechanical Keyboard subreddit wiki has a section dedicated to keyboards that have been spotted in movies and on TV. I'm sure I'm not alone in gleefully pointing out to my uninterested family when I see a keyboard I recognise, and I often find myself smiling when I see an old terminal or just an interesting prop make a brief appearance. It's especially fun when I see cool keyboards in films I watched before I got into keyboards. Older films, or those set in the past, are often full of cool looking keyboards or terminals. A lot of them aren't that interesting to me since they're just so common or well known. Model M's and Model F's appear a lot, as do some of the early Apple keyboards. I've picked out a few that I think are interesting for various reasons. I've always found split and ergonomic keyboards fascinating. There's just something so radical about them that makes you stop, stare and ask, how? Why? Split keyboards have become much more common in the enthusiast scene since the rise of the ErgoDox and more recently the Let's Split and Iris. This time we'll look at the Kinesis Contoured. American company Kinesis have been making one of the best and most distinctive ergo keyboards since the early 90s. The latest generation, the Advantage 2, came out in 2016. 1997 was a huge year for Kinesis, it seems, and a pretty good year for film. Someone at the company did a great job in getting their product in 3 hit movies that year. Here's a Kinesis Contoured in Flubber, starring the late Robin Williams as Professor Brainard. Since he's a bit of an eccentric and he seems to be in constant overdrive, it makes sense that they'd have him using a Kinesis. Something a bit off the wall and out of the norm. Contact is one of my favourite movies for a few reasons, Jodie Foster and Carl Sagan to name just 2. The PR department at Kinesis scored another win here, putting one in the Japanese control center, as you can see in this clip. Kinesis really outdid themselves when the keyboard appeared in Men in Black. The command center is actually full of them as far as I can tell. The keyboard gets a lot of screen time when Mr. K is checking up on his wife. What's really funny is that around an hour and 15 minutes in, you can see Mr. K doing some air typing in the background trying to find a spaceship. I have to believe that this is intentional and we're supposed to see that in the background. The Kinesis Contoured is such a distinctive looking keyboard that putting one in a sci-fi movie instantly makes the set look authentic. It looks like exactly the kind of keyboard that smart people would use to do really complicated things really quickly. I had a very brief go on a Kinesis Advantage at a meetup a few years ago, and I've now decided I want one for myself. They are still pretty expensive unless you can find a good deal on a used one, but they have potential for modding with an aftermarket controller to bring even the older models up to modern standards. Missouri Valley Tech has an excellent build log of his modded Kinesis that is definitely worth checking out. So, which modern keyboard do you think would be right at home on the set of a sci-fi flick? Next time, we'll look at some more old keyboards that made cameos on the big screen. See you soon.